Hello, and welcome to our second session of Delta Green. We are playing Delta Green using essentially the fall of Delta Green rules, the Gumshoe version of that, with some minor modifications. We're doing it in modern times. But otherwise, it's basically keeping to that. We are using pushes for the grouped investigative abilities rather than simply notes for and numbers for each of the investigative abilities. Where there is some granularity are on the general abilities. So there are a D6 plus spends for those. This session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We are using a set of safety tools, including lines and veils, the X card, open door. Just for a reminder, quick, what we have established as our lines right now are dental horror, torture by the PCs, and sexual assault. And then we have veils on sex and harm to children. And that is a living document, so it may get adjusted. We'll check in on that as we go along. We're down one player right this second. We're hoping they'll join us, but we are going to proceed forward. I want to check in and make sure everyone is happy with where they've put their points, investigative general wise, and their choices for abilities, and see if there are any changes. At the moment, Alan/Marcus Evans, are there any things you wanted to change on your character between now and then?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty comfortable with where they're at. I mean, I won't be by the end, but
right.
I am, I think at some point you have to commit.
Yeah. I will make one more check at the beginning of the next session, because this will be our first full play session through. But then after that, we'll consider that set. Horst, with Susan Rajavi.
I'm happy.
Okay.
With the points.
And Paul with Jim Williams.
Yes, I am indeed happy.
Okay. So last time we left off, you had arrived in our rural area, and we're looking into the, how do I put this, the strangeness of a forensics report in the local area. And you spoke with the young woman who is the daughter of the coroner, who is an elected official, and in talking to them, you were able to separate them and get a chance for our Dr. Evans, and I believe it was Jim, to get a look at the body, at which point they realized that it was very unusual. And after that, discovering that that was a problem, they discovered that an additional body was even more of a problem for them. And it started to kick around. So you got the coroner and the doctor out. The coroner and his daughter out, and set the bodies to burning. So at this moment, the bodies are disposed of. I am looking for what the name of the town is. Marcotte. Thank you. Thank you, Lowell. Telling yourself the name right there, finding it in your notes. There are some other details that are probably worth dwelling on in all this. This originally came from a report from this woman, Deb Catanzarite, who had originally done the check-in. That report had gone out and then been quashed by the agency. The body itself had been found after a hit and run out in kind of farmlands. You had indications that there is a sort of militia group operating in the area, calling themselves the Sons of David. And I think there were some other details But let me go around. Dr. Evans, was there anything that in my sort of quick overview that I may have left off that struck you as important?
The only thing that comes to mind is that I did manage to stop them burning everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a sample from the second body, which was undergoing this transformation, for want of a better word, and because a transformation from dead to alive, but also in terms of the nature of the organic material. So I did manage to take a sample at a point which, so I've got some of the original body
Right.
and some of the body transformed.
The interstitial, the liminal flesh, as it were, that you've got there. All right. Horst, is there anything else that you can think of that I missed in my going over?
So there's the driver that we wanted to check out, the sheriff who has some knowledge, and I think that Susan found out that there was an attempted break-in, or at least that the alarms went off.
Yeah, the reason that she was there when you called was that the alarm had gone off, and so there was indications that somebody had tried to break in. Okay, yeah, good details. Anything else, Paul, that you can recall?
The crime scene, as in where the person was hit. I think that needs investigation.
Yeah, so you have that general location out there, so you can track that down. In the aftermath of this, you've talked at least Deb Catanzarite into very much doubting what went on. And her father is willing to go along, I guess, based on the social pressure. What is it that you are telling them? I mean, you went and they could tell that bodies were thrown in the incinerator. They could see the smoke come out from that. They're waiting around to know what they should be doing. What is the story that you are telling them? Let's start with Susan on this, since I think you were the one kind of most face-to-face talking. What is your aim now? Where do you want to get them back home and isolated? Do you want to get them off the grid? What do you want to do?
Yeah, Susan definitely wants them calmed down and in their house, but she would turn to the doctor, Dr. Evans. What shall we tell the coroner?
Well, look, we established last time that Marcus has done work for this agent, this.
But it's not really briefed about the nature.
But has never encountered anything truly unnatural. So he's probably done some autopsies in cases that were, no further action required or whatever. So he understands that this is secret.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at this point, Evans is going to struggle to kind of come up with anything that doesn't fall back on practice. Practice is, this could be infectious. So these people have been in contact with the body. We need in some way to keep them under observation and not have them conceivably spreading some infection, because, we had a body with these characteristics, and at the end, we had two bodies with these characteristics. This is infection.
Doctor, settle down. It is.
Don't tell me to settle down. What is going on?
Well,
I need some straight answers. I have a responsibility.
It is very good that you take your responsibility seriously. So I will deal with the coroner. I would say I turn to Jim, I think. Jim, maybe you can talk to Dr. Evans while I take care of the two coroners.
Yeah, sure.
And
Doc,
and it's like
fuck out.
I couldn't have done that better.
So Susan, you're telling them there's some sort of thing they need to worry about isolation, and you're getting them into their homes
Yeah,
secured
I'm
and
trying
locked down?
to calm them down, tell them that the doctor is very worried about some kind of contagious element, and that they would have to isolate themselves for 24 hours. And I'm really sorry about the circumstances.
Before we get too much further, between sessions, you get a little bit of refresh. You may either refresh one of your pushes from one of the investigative abilities, or you can refresh 3 points worth of general abilities. That's for free. So Susan, what do you think your tactic is interpersonal wise for this this pair here?
Don't really have the. I would definitely do the interpersonal pushes.
Okay.
Back to 4. Questioning, is that more like is it very aggressive, or could it be?
It can be so you can soft pedal it. You still are putting them under the microscope, but it's not necessarily interrogation.
Yeah. So questioning in the sense of I remind them of their own responsibility as members of the. They are elected and everything. They have a responsibility for the population, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but this has to be done.
Okay, make that interpersonal spend, and they will be willing to go into isolation. You do realize that while they will isolate, they will still have access to
Telephones,
phones, all of that kind of stuff. But at least for the moment, you've got them, sitting, waiting, worrying. They clearly have enough professionalism that they're not immediately going to call and create a panic, but you will know that over time, there's a clock ticking on that. Jim, how are you handling Dr. Evans?
I will tell Dr. Evans that indeed it probably is some infectious outbreak, but the agency, and I will just use the term the agency, are well aware of this, and that's why we've been sent here, and that's why you are here, Doctor, to provide some technical.
Then let me do my job.
Yes, but the agency has overall responsibility about what goes on here, not the CDC. So things like quarantining and orders like that are handled by the agency. Not
well, how do I request that then? What's the process here?
Well, let's go through our most senior field agent here, Agent Jean Oliver. You can file a request with her. She will staff it up, and I'm sure within a period of time you will get the answer. But the agency is well aware, and that's why we are here, of the situation.
So, Agent Oliver, the only major change that has occurred in between last session and this for you is the fact that they have convinced the coroner and his daughter to hole up under quarantine conditions.
Perhaps whilst the other agents were dealing with, our Dr. Evans and our other thing, perhaps I had maybe contacted our handler to confirm, vector confirmed. We dealt with it. Locals are on ice for now, but Evans is going to be a problem.
When you say vector confirmed, dealt with it, all instances of the vector are confirmed and dealt with?
Those we know of.
Then it's not dealt with yet. Tell me it's dealt with when you find the source and work your way out from there.
Yes, but what about Evans? He hasn't been briefed. He wants to study it.
All right. So this is, for you, an agency spend.
Okay, I'll spend a point of agency.
Okay. Let me.
So agency represents not just the FBI, but the Delta Green as well.
Yeah, yeah. It is. You're reaching up to pull for them to take a step in. They're clearly reluctant to do that, especially when you're in the field. He says, I will have a call made. Keep Evans calm for the next hour or so.
Understood.
So go on, then keep me calm. I mean,
I'll come back into the room where Jim and Dr. Evans are, and big chipper smile that she doesn't really, if you looked very carefully, doesn't quite reach the eyes. And Jim, Dr. Evans, I can call you Marcus, can't I? Like after that?
yes, of course you can. But what's that got to do with the? I mean,
well, I'm just wondering if you guys got everything that you need. We're going to be here a little while, I think. We've got further to go on the investigation, of course. We need to work out where this contamination originates from, right? Doctor, you can help with that?
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah. And meanwhile, we stop anyone leaving this town, anyone arriving in it.
And under whose authority, Doctor?
Well, if necessary, mine. You know, I presumably I'm here because of my expertise. You told me that. My expertise says this is potentially dangerous until such time as we rule it not to be dangerous.
You are consulting on this, Doctor. This is not a CDC matter as of yet.
So whole remits of government are just don't matter anymore, do they? What?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Doctor.
Who exactly am I working for?
The agency.
Yeah, you keep using that. You know,
well,
the agency. What is going on here? This is
government body that looks after government departments.
Doctor, you've never encountered anything like this.
I have not encountered anything like this before. That is very true, Agent Oliver.
Neither have I. I have encountered other things, Doctor.
Okay.
I feel
I give you 24 hours. 24 hours. And if there are any signs of infection spread, I don't care who you work for. I will not sacrifice the people in this town to some, you know, I don't know to what, to whatever it is that you are representing here.
Is that maybe when Susan comes back to the room?
I would just like to say that Jean finishes that off with, we're in full agreement on that, Doctor.
Good. 24 hours. And you know, if anything, if these people are at risk, they need to be protected. That's the whole point of government agencies. Jeez.
In the meantime, pop a Xanax, smile, and shut the fuck up. Okay, Doctor, you're right. There's clearly some infection route here, and I think you're the best man to investigate the vector, where it started with patient 0. And I think that road accident site is a good spot.
Okay, and I think that that's the approach to take with Evans, is to give him a task that he feels comfortable with. And I think that's a good approach from Jim, that will get we'll get Marcus to, okay, let's go there now. But somebody needs to find the driver.
Yeah, and the sheriff needs interviewing. So somebody with some forensic knowledge, I believe, needs to accompany you, Doctor, unless that's a skill set you possess.
Yes, it is. Oh,
excellent.
Hang on. Unless I've shuffled it out. Hang on.
No, it is a skill you possess.
Yeah.
Susan, you came in and it looked like you were going to say something.
No, I was quirking my eyebrow at Paul.
Oh, okay.
Like with a I don't know, implicit message. You had one task: calm the motherfucker down. And I come into like a shouting match.
Yeah. So we've got 3 tasks. Do we all want to? Clearly, I think the most dangerous should have 2 agents on it, unless we want to do 2 tasks and then move to the 3rd. What do people think?
I think that the field, well, technically we have a sample, right? Already of the stuff.
Yes.
So there's actually a fourth task on the table, which would be to investigate the sample, perhaps with
Yeah.
samples of other dead flesh. But
Do you want
that's
to do that,
perhaps
Doctor? Because that's definitely an area that you're well suited at.
Look, I mean, you need to point me at a task.
I, however, would say that that was a metagame thing, by the way, the fourth task, because I actually think that like that's not a thing that we could currently trust the doctor with doing on his own, and it would tie up one of us just to babysit him. So I would say one of us goes with the doctor out to the field site because that's out in the wild, possibly, and then we split up and we can. See, I'm not sure if well, we can talk to the sheriff and we can talk about missing persons, etc. You know, try and like scope them out. But we really don't want to tip our hand with the sheriff. The driver maybe more. So I'm just looking at our things. I think any of the three of us can handle the sheriff or the person. It's who wants to go out with the doctor.
I think either me or you would be well suited with the sheriff.
Yeah, Gene, we should go to the sheriff because you have the interpersonal skills.
Okay, I'll go to the sheriff then.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, I really want to go to the witness. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
On a player level, I actually really
You
want
do
to
the
go to the
witness.
witness.
You do the witness. I'll do the sheriff.
Mhm.
Horst, whichever you want to do, you do.
I will
Unless-
babysit the doctor. And she actually changes the magazine of her gun when she says that.
All right. Let's do the two individuals. Let's do the driver and the sheriff. And then let's come to Dr. Evans and Rajavi out in the field. So let's start with the driver. Agent Oliver, this is a little drive because they don't have a hospital in town. And you have to drive essentially to the county hospital, which is about 25, 30 minutes away. So I assume you take the car?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can flash your badge and get in, and someone will say, oh, we're Mr. Stratton's scheduled to be released tomorrow morning in just a couple of hours. I can
perfect.
wake him if you want.
Yes, please, if you would. You know, I'd like to get this finished with so that he can go home and go back to his life.
And you will be directed up. This is like maybe a 2-3 floor hospital, basically an emergency room and some, a little wing with some outpatient, some inpatient facilities. And you will go up, and Stratton has been awoken, and he's like getting his pants on, and it looks kind of like angry when you get in there, and like looks and sees you and says, "Who the hell are you?"
If he's pulling his pants on as he comes in, I will spend a point of flattery and be all bashful, very attractive woman coming into the room and like, oh my, like, oh, I'm so sorry,
No, it's they wouldn't let me leave.
I think they're letting you leave in 2 hours or so.
Well, they let me leave in 2 hours, but I could have been out of here yesterday, but they kept me on so they could soak me for another fucking day in this hospital.
Tell me about it.
Procedures. Yeah. I just like the airbag just hit my chest. And then they're like, oh, you have a bruise on your heart. Oh, fuck that.
Doctor's right. But I'm just trying to tidy this all up so that I don't, while you're here, right? Like, at least I can take up you're stuck here. The doctors have stuck you here. I can just ask you some questions before they release you, and then I don't have to bother you outside of here, right?
Yeah. Are you with some kind of, are you with the police?
Oh, yeah, well, it's a federal thing. It's the missing persons. We just, it's all. I just need to find out what happened, really, and then, rewrite it up. It's probably going to lead nowhere, but they got me all over the back ends of the country. Just wouldn't work, right?
Is it something to do with the kid? Like, is there something? I mean, the kid was naked.
Yeah, it's something to do with the kid. So the kid was naked, right? When it happened.
So it was what, 3:30 in the morning? And I hadn't been drinking. I was just getting back from late shift, and I'm driving down the county road. It's 55 through there. I'm maybe doing 60, 65, but I know these fields, deer can just come bolting across the roads if you're not careful. So I'm trying to be careful, and there's a little bit of a light off the snow, but then there's this kid comes out across the road and like running, and I need to actually roll back not naked. The kid wasn't naked. He had clothes on. I need to revise that statement because it's in the forensics thing that there's clothing. So this kid comes out barefoot.
Can I just to roll back just to say that we probably grabbed those from the coroner's office before.
Yeah.
Cool.
Those would have been all bagged up.
Perfect,
Barefoot comes across, and I try to swerve, but it darts, and I clip him, and because I took the turn, at least the road wasn't icy, thank God. And I went off into a ditch, and I don't know what happened with the kid, because when I hit, the airbag went off, and it went like I'd never had that before. It went hard into my chest, knocked the wind right out of me, and I'm sitting there, and I look, and I can't see the kid. Like, I don't see him, and I'm like freaking out. And that's when I see the guy.
The guy?
Yeah, there was a guy there. I couldn't see him. What he was like by the side of the road. It's one of the soybean fields that got flooded out, and they left the stands up on them. Shitty caretaking, whatever. But the guy I see him step out, and I think he's going to come over and help me. But then there's headlights of another car coming up, and I kind of turned to see what was going on, and then the guy's gone, and he never came and helped me, and he didn't fucking come up to help the kid. And I was lucky.
The kid was dead when you.
I didn't go look. I swear to God, I couldn't.
I understand.
The woman
she'll
who
put like a hand out, just touch his hand gently to be like, I understand. It's hard to see.
The woman who got me out of the car, she'd already called the sheriff and called for an ambulance. Lucky the overnight driver was at the diner all night outside of town, and so they came over quickly. She went over, and she came back, and I asked how the kid was, and she wouldn't say anything, and it was pretty clear to me that the kid was dead, because she wouldn't say anything. And she actually made me stay in the car because she could tell I was freaked out. And then, I mean, not long after the sheriff, we got the flashers, and the sheriff comes up, and then there's an ambulance, and they're getting me into the ambulance, and I see that they've got a body bag for the kid.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm sorry that they kept you here.
Like, whose kid is it? Like, I know a lot of people in town. Whose kid is it?
Someone, I'm not really at liberty to say, but we think that it's someone from beyond the town at this point.
That seems to slightly reassure him, like he is clearly terrified that if he killed
someone that he might
might know, or that's kind of like, it's not a big town.
Listen, I want you to know that my report, the sheriff's report, everybody's report is going to make it very clear that you're in no way at fault here. Okay? We just need to try and piece together what the chain of events that led up to what happened, but it's not to do with you. Okay? Now, the woman who picked you up, is she local?
Yeah, Jamie Lynn Cross.
Jamie Lynn Cross. Okay, well, it's good that she came along. I guess I'll have to have a word with her as well. Do you know where I might be able to find her? Save me some time looking her up.
She works at the Safeway.
She works at Safeway.
She was
Thank you for-
she like, I probably was coming back from doing stocking.
Oh, I don't miss those days.
Oh.
And this guy that you saw. Could you describe him for me?
It was a man. I was still like trying to get my head together.
Was he wearing anything? Was he
like jeans? Like a jacket, like he's wearing a winter jacket. And he was carrying something. Like a pipe or something like that, is like maybe like a bow pipe. Like it was bent weird.
a bent pipe? Couldn't have been a firearm.
No, I know guns. Oh, it wasn't a gun. It certainly wasn't gripping. It was like a pipe, like he pulled off like a piece of plumbing pipe with some like I don't know. I didn't get
No,
to
you
see him
didn't.
for very long.
You didn't get a good look, of course.
No,
Yes, I
no.
understand. Caucasian, African American.
I think he was a white guy.
And I don't know, anything else? Glasses, warm weather clothing.
And you press him for a while, and like he kind of keeps going over the same details. It gets to that point where he's starting to kind of like try to like making up the, where he's trying to fill in, and you can tell, where you got the end bit on that.
And I think I will just ask him, is there anything out that way? Across the fields?
It's all farms out there.
All farms. Still going concerns, or
like I don't know who owns what out there. I know some of that stuff's owned by the commune, and some of that stuff's owned by private folks, but it's not been a great year. I know some people have sold off.
Yeah. The commune. Sorry, I'm new here.
There's a religious group that owns a bunch of land out that way.
Okay. Do you know anything? Could you
They're like real Christian-y. They're like evangelical, I think.
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, each to their own, right?
Yeah.
So they have a name?
Like something like Branch Davidians or something like that. I can't remember.
Probably
They don't
not Branch
they're
Davidians.
like don't do a lot with the town.
Okay. Anyone in town know about them?
Oh yeah, I mean, I know, I commute and stuff, so I don't know, but I know that some of them shop in town or deal, but they're kind of to themselves. Sons of David.
Sons of David.
Sons of David.
Right. Did that pop up before out of character?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did, because there was a local militia active in the area, King David. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, we played a different Delta Green game with Horst over the weekend.
Oh,
And my
okay.
brain has got slightly conflated into, yeah. Luckily, I have notes, so I can just do Control F. But yeah, perfect. I feel like I've got enough
Yep.
out of it there. Yeah,
Okay.
I will just thank him very kindly, give him a big winning smile, and tell him that I'll go see if I can convince the nurse to let you go sooner.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then I don't do any such thing, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave him to stew in his $6,000 overnight bill charge there.
Yeah, I'm certainly not paying for it. Delta Green's certainly not paying for it. That'd be a
Yep.
paper trail.
Jim, the sheriff's office, you'll see, is clearly covers the county. There are spots for maybe 4 cruisers. It's kind of a walk up, glass fronted, and essentially there's a dispatcher kind of sitting there, and when you come in, they're like, can I help you?
I will flash my badge. Agent Williams, DEA. I'm here doing some investigation.
Uh-huh. Of
The accident out on the highway. We believe it involved some illicit drug that was found in the body.
I'm
Tracking this interstate. Yeah, we think it's come in from Hong Kong or the Far East. For some reason, it's made its way here, so we're just checking it back.
it's not from Detroit. There's a lot of drugs that come out of Detroit.
Could have come in through the Canada connection.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Oh yeah. The Canada
anybody
connection.
that speaks French, you can't trust them.
Fair
You know
enough.
what
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me get Sheriff
Sure.
Palmer on the horn, and I will. I'll do that.
Sure. Any
And
chance to buzz me through? It's pretty freezing out here. I'm
no,
not used to-
yeah. Come on in. Gestures to the glass thermos coffee maker that's been baking for the last 4 hours. This dispatcher will call up, and there's a back and forth, and if you're okay, I'm coming in, hang on.
Yeah, well, I'll grab a coffee and a donut. There's always got to be a donut.
Yeah.
That's some good Joe, that is. Yeah, you do some good Joe out here.
It's just Folgers.
Oh, well, that's
The
better.
the trick is to leave the bottom burner on.
I'll remember that when I get back to HQ. I'll pass that on. Yeah, and I think while the sheriff is coming in, I'm going to try and sort of tap up whoever is around, even if it is the dispatcher or any other cops.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any increase in criminal activity increasing over previous figures? They might even have this on the board, sort of crime figures.
Yeah, they actually do. You kind of look, and you actually will see that there are some notices that are the kinds of things that stand out for you, where, you know, there's animals missing. There's some you know, basic trespass. But in particular, you'll notice that there are 3 missing persons reports up on there. And kind of take a look. It looks like one of them is a guy who does handyman stuff around in the area, and he's been missing for a couple of weeks. And it looks like there's a pair of young women who are actually off from the Potawatomi Reservation area, maybe an hour and a half north of here. And they were last seen in the area hitchhiking, and nobody has heard from them in about a week and a half. Sheriff comes in, kind of looks at you, kind of walks over, and he says, "You must be the Fed?"
DEA, but yeah, pretty much the same
Oh.
sheriff. Pleased to meet
Okay.
Jim Williams.
Sheriff Palmer.
Excellent sheriff. You run a tight ship here by the look of it, sheriff. Looks really sweet.
Appreciate that. Come and sit down. Kind of clearly wants to talk to you out of the earshot of the dispatcher, kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
wants to know what's going on first.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll sit in his office and I'll say, clearly with some reports lodged and an autopsy, I've been sent up here to investigate a possible drugs problem involving that road traffic accident. Looking at the autopsy, there was something discovered in the body by one of our experts. There was
Are they using kids as drug mules?
Well, you know, it had something in its body, something that's very rarely seen. We're tracking it in. It's coming from Hong Kong or the Middle East via Canada down through Detroit. And we all know what Detroit's like, don't we, Sheriff?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad you're here, because the coroner found some weird stuff with the body. I'm glad that there's a good, like a good explanation. Catanzarite will be relieved.
Looking at some psychoactive made up drug. We're not too sure. Might go by the street name Cake. Hard to say. Cake. I think that's.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. Pretty grim. I mean, just looking around at the tight ship you run here, there's been a few missing persons, which I think we may also want to look into. Clearly, maybe it has been making its way into this area. This is the first real sort of sniff of it we've got. Do you mind if I have a look at all those files?
Yeah. You think that some of this other stuff we've had is
Well, I mean, do you think it's quite unusual, Sheriff? 3 missing people? I mean, this is you run a tight ship in this town, and that's pretty unusual, I'd say, for around here.
says, well, look, it's it isn't necessarily in the area, you know what I mean? But here's the thing, Ray Tevis, nice guy. I mean, he's been, a handyman, picking up odd jobs for the last 10, 12 years. After his HVAC business went belly up. I mean, I can't imagine Ray doing anything besides maybe some drinking and driving.
Yeah, I mean, churchgoer, man of the community. Sounds it.
Yeah. The girls, that's a whole nother story. As I understand it, they were sisters that were like trying to hitchhike down to Indiana and then maybe to Chicago, and somebody saw them in town. They probably probably found a ride and they've headed somewhere, but it's two teens. Everybody's talking about
Yeah.
it, worried about it.
Yeah, I think all these people are probably just accidentally mixed up in it, really, Sheriff. I mean, back to the actual crime, and I'll flick through the crime report from the actual accident. Does it mention a few of the things that Will got earlier? Things like
He clearly got the statement that there was a guy there, and the sheriff, will body found, dead on arrival, ambulance taken away. Spoke to the witness. He suggested that there had been somebody else present. I went to start looking around, but that's about the time that the storm started, and it came down, and I tried to see if I could see anything in the field, but by within 30 minutes I couldn't see anything, and I went back and the field had been waterlogged and then frozen, and unable to see where this kid might have come from. He does have like a sketch of some of the different plots and areas and a kind of a map of the region around there.
Got you. If I make a spend from Cop Talk, can I
Sure.
try and plug him for as much information on the cult of David?
Absolutely. And you kind of mentioned that, and he says you think they might be mixed up in this?
Cults can easily be mixed up. Deviant subculturists, definitely. Drugs, it could be a main source of income, because how the hell do these cults make money? Arms, drugs. I mean, next thing we'll know, we could have anybody down here.
So they've got a pretty big patch of land that they bought out maybe a decade or so back, set themselves up. They've got a communal house and they've got other buildings. They've got this guy, King David.
Has he been in charge the entire time?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
He's the one who kind of led them in. He and his son. They're a real sort of fundamentalist Christian thing, like keep your wives quiet kind of thing. There's some weird stuff with that. But
just white guys up there?
Pardon?
Just white guys in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, man.
They've got a gun range out there. They got the license for that.
Yeah.
But you're not the first Fed that's come down to talk with me about them.
Oh, I will seem very surprised here.
I had an FBI agent come down here, about a year and a half ago, because the Sons had popped up with, as in name, impossible connection with some bank robberies in Ohio and Indiana.
Okay.
Nothing ever came of that, but I know that they were on the FBI radar at that point for that. Now, we've never had any real trouble with them. you know, they keep to themselves, and that's the way I like it. The only thing has been that they bought up a number of farms adjoining theirs. And I know that they've some of the acolytes and some friends or family of the acolytes have been set up at those farms around there. So there's a bunch of places that they own.
Any sort of false imprisonment? You know, people that have sort of changed their minds about staying there. Anybody got out? Any reports of that?
There was a German couple that came about 9 years ago. Their daughter is apparently married to King David's son, and she had come over here as like a grad student and like got mixed up with him and like joined, and they were claiming that she'd been brainwashed and all this, but you know, and we went out and talked to her, and I mean, it's nothing we could do. We had to send them back home.
Okay, but she's still with David's son, is she?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, and you don't think anybody's still in town that's escaped from them, or really, if you join them, you're there for life?
I don't think it's like a brainwash cult. I mean, I think it's just like they're patriots, you know, they're Christian patriots. That's just the thing.
Sure. And some people from town have joined them, have they? Anybody personally, Sheriff?
They haven't really recruited from town. They're still kind of standoffish. So I'm kind of relieved about that.
Excellent. Well, I think I've got all I need. I'm going to get back to my colleagues. Yeah, I mean, I may pop in tomorrow, Sheriff, and have a chat if I find anything that's going to really help your investigation.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah, just keep me in the loop.
Yeah. You know, DA are not taking over this. This is a local matter. We're just here to assist and see if there's a wider connection.
It's all good. It's all good. I understand. You know, I'm glad it's not a local kid.
Yeah, I take it you'd never seen the kid before.
No, I hadn't.
No, I mean, did you run prints through the sort of missing children, facial recognition through missing children, anything like that?
They had some problems with the prints. I couldn't get good prints.
Okay.
He says this in that way that he's aware of the anomaly with them, but he doesn't want to address it.
Okay. I mean, meta-wise, did it have a good face, or was it sort of baby fine when we got it?
They have pictures of the young man before that. They're not the greatest pictures, but essentially when they brought him in.
I'll probably try and take a copy of that because, yeah, facial recognition is pretty good in the US. So we might be able to get something on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll thank him. Yeah, and, you know, might you find Joe there, Sheriff? That's a good cup of coffee.
He draws a grimace. Oh, okay. I usually clean the pod as soon as I get in the morning.
Well, thank you very much, Sheriff. Thank you.
Let's take our first break here. Let's take 10, and then we'll come back with Dr. Evans and Rajavi at the accident site. So I forgot to restart the recording, and 2 of the agents are shot. So there's a big gap here, and I apologize to anyone listening to this. So Susan, you're calling 911.
No, Agent Oliver.
Agent alert. Essentially, you're alerting the agents.
Mhm.
You probably know that, Jim, that you'd be about 15-20 minutes away, even at like top speed right now. Dr. Evans, you're kind of down at the back of this thing.
I'm slumped at the back corner of the camper van. I think probably, given I'm leaning out from the camper, I think probably I've been hit somewhere on the right-hand side. And yeah, I'm slumped, and I'm reaching back into the camper van, trying to reach the first aid pack.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I will definitely assist Dr. Evans in the first aid while trying to keep an eye on the guy. Obviously,
So you want to brake from the van over to the to the camper?
Yeah, at
You
least
know,
hand him the first aid kit.
Just Susan, before you do, just meta here.
Yeah.
I have first aid at 8.
Oh,
So
okay.
so if the worst comes to the worst, I'm going to crawl into that van and do it myself. I don't think I think given where we're at, you need to keep an eye on that guy.
Priority is the guy. I got you.
So you're kind of holding position.
Can I see him? So he's not like trying to crawl away, that rat.
He is, you can kind of make out his form. You kind of probably saw the muzzle flashes. He's maybe 30 meters into the field away from you. And you know, it gets quiet, except for maybe the gurgling of his partner. And he gets up and breaks. And you see him jump up, and he starts zigzagging away from you through the field. What do you want to do?
I think we have to follow him, huh? Is Dr. Evans in the van?
You look back, Dr. Evans is, you probably can't see him. You know that he's behind the camper right now. Dr. Evans, every 1 point of first aid that you spend will heal 2 points of damage.
Then I will spend at this point 2 points of first aid to get 4 points of health back. So it looks like more shock than real damage.
Susan, what do you want to do?
But that's going to take a little time, I think.
Okay, some departing shots then for the guy.
Okay,
Like trying to. Is there like a game mechanic where I can shoot for the leg?
There is a called shot mechanic here, which we can bring in from Fall of Delta Green if you would like. So he's at a long range, and you are trying to hit the leg. So the total is going to be you'll need a 7 to hit the leg.
That won't do. Okay. I just shoot at him to shoot to hit him. I know that he can't be that quick because he was shot in the leg.
He was shot.
Oh,
I'm
he
not
was
sure
shot,
where he
not
was
necessarily.
hit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But let's have you take that shot.
All right then. Pot shot. Thank you. Good. And I have no points to spend, so here we go.
A 6 will hit.
That is a 6.
Roll me a d6.
I want to have him alive, obviously, but
A 3 plus 1. He will drop.
I run over at him.
And you'll hear, as you start running over, you'll hear bang, 1 shot.
I drop down and have a look. Maybe sense trouble. Is that a good? Like
No,
to
it's
see
a shot ahead of you. You will see the flash as he brings his arm up, and he puts the bullet like to the back, the gun to the back of his ear, like behind it, and fires.
Boom. That's weird. Is there some kind of sanity roll or something? I mean, you don't.
Yeah, this is a violence check here. So that's 2 points of stability.
Because that is not normal behavior. Stability.
And I think 1 point for shooting that guy in the jaw as well earlier.
Okay. Okay, I turn back to Dr. Evans and assist him. I don't know, apply pressure or whatever you do.
Okay, you'll run back to where Dr. Evans is at. Dr. Evans, you kind of what like he managed to apply pressure to your wound there and get up onto your feet. You'll see Susan come running back.
Okay, when I see the gesture, I will
Calm
check
down.
check the guy that makes the gurgling sounds first. First check the van and the guy that may or may not still be alive. Like,
Okay.
approach carefully, gun drawn.
Guys, at this point, dead, kind of move up on him, kind of check him out. He has a gun. He has a phone. He has a wallet there. Kind of take a
I
quick
touch
check. There's
nothing.
nobody else in the van. You take a check on
Okay.
that.
Okay. Everything I touch with a handkerchief or preferably with gloves.
Yeah, I assume you have gloves.
Then I take the phone, check the wallet. What's his name?
You can look at it. You have enough skill to glance. You can tell this is a very badly made, or at least not intended to stand up to scrutiny kind of, there's a driver's license and cash in there.
And he had a parka, something?
Yeah.
There's
Big
no
coat.
Gang sign on the back or something, not a Star of David or something.
No, it's a white guy. He dressed in flannel shirt and blue jeans, combat boots. A quick look in the van, we'll see that it's kind of like there's some junk tossed in the back. You can see there's fast food wrappers and things like that around in here. It looks like a van of people who've been traveling for a while. Dr. Evans, what are you doing?
I think I go to check the bodies. I think I do what a doctor would do in this circumstance.
Which body first?
The one that's nearest, which
Okay.
is the one that he blew the head off.
Just hit in the face, just his jaw shattered, that kind of thing.
Well, I've seen that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And clearly dead.
Yeah.
And then begin to kind of, head out into the field to examine the other body.
Doctor, do you want to make a forensic spend?
I would be interested so to do.
Okay.
Let's make that forensic spend. I was saving that to examine the crime scene, but it was a different crime I had in mind.
Yeah. You will kind of bend down to check out the body. You can see that Susan's like, checked the parka, gotten the gun away, gotten the wallet. You're kind of checking out the body, and you will see that there is a little like scar behind his ear. And you kind of reach out to touch it, and you'll see the scar open, and you will see these little tiny sharp baby teeth and a little tiny pink tongue, and it kind of gurgles out. Little drip comes out from the side of it, and then it shuts. Can I have you make a stability check for me? You are muted. Difficulty 3.
I am speechless. I will spend 2 stability
Okay.
and get an 8.
You not sure what I just saw.
Yes. Okay. But the scientist in me will want to examine this.
Okay.
And so I think
This is probably not the place to examine it, though, right?
no. Well, that depends, to be honest. Where's Susan at the moment?
Susan,
With the other body.
Well, I was still at the van checking like through the stuff that is in the van, maybe the glove compartment, see if there's anything that would identify them.
Susan, come here.
Dr. Evans, and she comes.
And you know, take a pen and just leave her open this scar.
Now that you try to do that, the scar doesn't open.
Yeah, that scar is weird. I think I saw the other guy shooting himself behind the ear where that scar would be.
No, you're not. No.
No?
That was a mouth. That's why I called you over here.
Dr. Evans, I told
Slap
you
me. Slap me.
No,
No.
it's not what you need.
Slap me now.
Dr. Evans.
I think this is the perfect time for me to bring Jim, you with the sheriff, him driving you out to the scene. He's like, what's going on?
I think there's been a shootout.
And Dr. Evans, Susan, you'll see the flashers coming, the siren going, and you'll see this sheriff's car like pull up, probably skids off the side of the road to a stop. Jim, you get out of this van, and there's one body that you see, and you can see that Dr. Evans is taking a hit.
I will announce myself very loudly and say, DA Agent Williams with local sheriff, don't fire. We are approaching your location.
Agent Rajavi here, FBI. We are all friends here.
Yep, no problem. No problem, Agent.
Marcus doesn't respond. Marcus is wandering away from the body, lost in thought.
Rajavi, grab the doctor before he wanders off, can you?
Yes, secure the crime scene.
Yep, me and the sheriff will make sure that happens.
I put my arm around Dr. Evans. I approach him first and very, very carefully put my arm around the doctor. Dr. Evans, we have to have a talk.
None of this makes sense.
It may make sense if you just listen to me for a minute. It will all make sense.
Okay, I'm listening.
So we all grow up with the idea that it is better to know than not to know, right? That is why you become a doctor, why people become journalists or scientists. Sometimes it is better not to know, because the truth transcends your worldview. It's not that it is outside of your worldview. Your worldview will crumble if you know too much. And what we are investigating right now is the outside that I'm talking about. We are investigating something that is beyond science. And if you fight against it, it will hurt you. But if you accept that there is something that science is maybe, let's say, not well equipped to tackle, and it is possible to stop it.
I think you're misunderstanding my problem here, Susan.
What is your problem?
I've read about all kinds of stuff. The last 5 hours, whatever it's been, the last 5 hours tells me it's all true.
Yes, Dr. Evans, it is all true. And we're here to stop it. And it's your patriotic duty to shut your mouth and work with a team.
I want to cut there. What I want to do is I want to check in with Agent Oliver and then come back to Jim and see what Jim's doing while they're having that conversation. Gene, were you finished up with this witness?
I mean, I think when we got the call from Rajavi, I was at the hospital, which is out of town,
Mhm.
and I have just been flooring it driving there. But obviously, Jim was much closer, so he got there sooner.
So
But I'm gonna
anything you're
arrive at
doing
the
while
scene.
you're driving, anything I should know about? It's just, are you just hell bent for leather here?
I mean, the thing that I'm doing while I'm driving is like throwing the fully loaded pistol on the seat next to me,
Okay.
checking the body armor that I had underneath my jacket the whole time. Like I'm arriving ready to hit that ground shooting, but
Okay.
I'm going to be 30 minutes after whatever happened, of course. So
Yeah, it is that peeling around that icy roads back here, and I will come and bring you onto scene ASAP. Okay.
yeah. I allow everybody to. I'm not in any rush to
Yeah, okay.
do.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. It's fine.
Jim, what are you doing while Dr. Susan is kind of getting Dr. Evans on board here?
I'm going to take the sheriff. I take it just sort of looking at the crime scene. There's no sign of weirdness. It's just two bodies, isn't it, lying there?
Yeah, he doesn't see anything weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. So, I'll say it the sheriff, luckily we've got a doctor here, so he'll be able to do some sort of preliminary autopsy here in the field, sheriff. But, your local knowledge is invaluable here. Do you recognize either of these two individuals?
He'll walk over, kind of looks at him, and goes, no, they've got Indiana plates. They're not from Michigan. Kind of he'll walk with you out into the field, and you see the guy. He shot himself in the back of the head, or sort of towards the back. There are a couple of other wounds in him. You can see he's got a phone in his other hand, and he's clearly trying to book it.
I'll say I believe that phone's part of an ongoing investigation, so we'll have our tech expert look at that, Sheriff. But what I want to know from you, Sheriff, I'll point towards where the first guy was and probably where this guy is now, sort of where he was, sort of, and then draw a line with my hands to here, and then sort of extrapolate that out even further and say, Sheriff, if that guy was running from there to here, say he carried on running, do you reckon the Cult of David property is that in that direction?
He says he'd have to go a ways, but there are some properties off that way.
This guy's running. He could probably run. Well, he was going to run. He could have probably run some time. It just seems odd that in the middle of nowhere, he sort of picked the cult direction to run.
Well, he says, no, if you're pointing back that way, like he's running. He says if he was going that way, he was probably going for the nearest access road.
Okay, so he's just running up the road. Okay, fair.
Yeah, like he's if you cut across the field that way, if you wanted to get to the Sons of David property, you kind of cut that direction.
Okay, but it's a little distance, but not too far.
Yeah, there's a like between here and like the nearest farm that the Sons own. There's like I think a cup, like another field, and then there's a stand of pines, and then the farms.
Got you. And this was the original crime scene, was it, Sheriff?
Yeah, we're right here. I don't know what these guys were doing here.
I was going to say that's quite odd for maybe they're sort of like those crime freakers that love a gory crime scene.
But why a gunfight?
Yeah, well, clearly, I have to ask my colleagues about why these people drew a gun and started firing. It does seem very odd. I'm sure they identified themselves.
His phone will ring, and he'll take it, and he'll. Well, okay. Let's see what you can find about that. And he goes, stolen plates.
Wow. Okay, but you don't recognize either of the two victims or the van. You've never seen it before.
No.
No. Okay.
No, but I can run the VIN number on the the
Yeah,
van.
run that. Probably find it was stolen. The plates were removed at some other location. But now the snow is cleared, and now the storm's stopped. Is there anything weird that from what it was before, Sheriff? Looking around.
Kind of walks with you around.
Yeah. Let's both walk the crime scene.
Sure. What do you think is appropriate? Do you have a forensics or like an outdoor survival or anything?
I do.
I'll even take a notice spend.
Well, I've got forensics. I'll spend from that.
Okay. So let me give you what you can kind of, as you walk around, get the sense this van must have pulled up, parked here. 2 guys in it. 1 guy gets out at some point, clearly like staying by the van to provide cover. Other guy gets out. You see him kind of walk around, and he comes down into the field, and he kind of does like a serpentine thing that's wide and then gets tighter. And then he gets to a spot, and there's like a lot of footprints, like he was walking around there, like checking the area.
Okay. Sort of like divining. Yeah. Just wandering. Yeah. Ever decreasing circles. Sort of searching for something. Does that area turn up anything? If we sort of dig in the snow?
What you will find is that this guy, when he heard the shots and started to run back to the van, he dropped this bottle. And you will kind of, look at it, and you will see it's got like a liquid in the bottom. It might be quicksilver or something. And there is a chunk of flesh in it, floating in that. And you will see kind of, as you hold it up and kind of steady it, you will see the flesh kind of turn like a compass and move to one side of that quicksilver.
I will bag it as evidence.
Okay.
But definitely sort of think we need to.
Is that cake?
Yeah, well, it's definitely used in the preparation of cake. Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen paraphernalia like that.
No, this new drugs paraphernalia that's coming out of Hong Kong, Afghanistan.
You name every country again.
Yeah.
He's definitely this is really uncertain to him, and he's moved to kind of like stepping back. There are 2 strangers' bodies here. You found this drug paraphernalia. He has gone from wanting to help out to, I don't want any fucking part of this.
Yeah, and I think I'll sort of assure him that I think this is now definitely looking like a federal case, Sheriff. I mean, clearly we'll keep you in the loop, but
good. Yeah. No. That's good. That's good. Let me bring Gene on scene, and then let's see what you're doing, and then we'll fold Evans and Rajavi back in. So Gene, at some point you get an all clear signal.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're like 2 minutes out.
Mm-hmm. And I sigh and put down my backup piece and my other things, and like tidy myself up a little bit before I arrive on the scene. I can see that Jim's got he's pushing the drugs angle with the local PD. I can see that Susan's having the talk with Dr. Evans. I'm I was wondering, I will go and speak to Dr. Evans, and I'll ask him, did you manage to analyze the collision, the crash?
Not yet, but that seems to me to be the least of what there is to look at here.
Yeah.
And Marcus's eyes are bright. He's engaged. You know, he's always had this interest in the occult and the fringe. And now it's here.
Yeah, I look dubiously at Rajavi.
We
Let
had
me
to
leave.
talk.
You understand, you need to be cleared for this, right? We're cleared. You're cleared. The sheriff isn't cleared.
Yeah, no, of course. Yes, that makes perfect sense. This kind of information cannot, simply cannot get into the public realm. It would cause panic. And who knows, the breakdown of society. I don't know what it would cause, but it would not be a good thing.
And Jean genuinely smiles and says, well, I'm really glad, Doctor, because I thought I was going to have a very difficult conversation with you at some point.
This is amazing.
And I look down at his, bandaged leg. And I say, well, I'm glad you're feeling okay.
I can rarely think of a time when I have been more professionally excited.
Good. Now, we're going to need, I think, autopsies on these bodies, Doctor. Do you think you can do that tonight? We have access to a funeral.
Oh, try and stop me. Try and stop me.
I think Jim's wrapping up that we're going to take ownership of this for the local police. The only question I have is there anything, do we think the scene is contaminated too much to try and work out where the victim came from, because it's icy, right? Like it's frozen around here. So potentially there could be footprints, there could be like a, some sort of trail to go back there. But I don't.
You mean the kid?
The kid, yeah.
The storm happened after the accident,
Okay,
and
so that's
washed, and then then froze over.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't have an interpersonal one. I'm just looking at what does criminology get me. Fringe. Fringe. What can fringe? So we've confirmed these guys are Branch Davidians, haven't we? Like they're sons of David. Sorry.
Oh no.
No. Would a fringe?
In fact, you look at the stuff that they've got. You will kind of check in the van. It looks like these guys drove here from Nevada.
From Nevada.
Like they came from several states away. They've got some like that sort of evangelical Christian tattooing, that's sort of weird mark of militia, but none of it corresponds with what you've heard about the Sons of David.
Okay. I wonder then if I can call in for like a check on, because they've got IDs, right, in their wallets.
They have what Susan was able to determine are very basic fake driver's licenses.
But the van itself, I can run the license plates. I can run this.
Stolen.
What I want to do is stolen. Okay.
Yeah, we've checked it. Or the sheriff has checked it.
But they come from Nevada, and they've got all these Christian things.
And I will say, vehicle, you can confirm stolen in Nevada, and then Indiana plates put on it.
Indiana plates put on it. They seem to be part of a completely separate Christian cult then, from the fringe group kind of thing.
But
I
clearly
think with
in the cult of David
Yeah.
You know, why else would they be up here?
Well, no, that's our. I'm just trying to work out
With
what
that
evidence
fringe
we have,
spend,
you know.
if
Yeah.
you make that spend, I think
Mhm.
it was pretty clear to you that this is another group. They're here. They're clearly looking into this with some intent and some force, but don't seem to be part of that Sons of David group. Susan, what are you up to?
Well, Susan personally doesn't think, without the information about this weird flash compass that Jim has.
We can
she-
assume that this
Yeah,
information can
the
be
talk
passed, but
is
yeah,
over. I think the sheriff is probably like
Yeah.
back in his car, having
Yeah.
been resolved, and
he's like,
yeah.
I'll send some people to come and tape this off. Is basically his thing. I'd like to go now.
Yeah, so I would gather the crew and say, well, I think firstly we should check the bodies, an autopsy. I think Dr. Marcus, you wanted to say something about the scars.
Yes. When I first examined this body, the one bit that Susan put a bullet in the head of, and I turned the head to one side, you see the scar here?
Mhm.
I swear to God, that opened like a tiny mouth.
And it would explain why the other guy shot himself exactly at that spot to cover up the evidence. So we need to make an autopsy, obviously, Dr. Evans.
Yeah, if we can put these two bodies in the back of the blue van, and then someone can drive the blue van to the coroner's office, then I can get on with. First, I will take some stimulants, and then I will get on with autopsy on both.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to call the scene. I think we've.
Well, let's call it there. Let's take our 5-minute break and then we'll continue on. Okay.
Cool.
I'll pause the recording again and maybe start it. So you have the van. Let us assume that you have the body bags that are necessary. You can bag up these bodies. You have both their phones. They have similar fake driver's licenses, similar markings, tattoos on them, and you will get them bagged up. So how do we want to proceed right now with that? Like, do we want to kind of, we can have everybody back to town and then like go do a once around on investigation things. Does that seem fair? Okay. I
think we're probably using the funeral home that we've now quarantined
commandeered
for 2 days. You know, the morgue section of it kind of thing is our base of operations now.
Absolutely.
My suggestion would be they were obviously trying to find something with a bottle, and we are there at the moment. Shouldn't we, at least have an idea where the bottle, in what direction the bottle leads us? Or should we go back to the funeral home and do?
No, I think you raise a good point.
Yeah, well,
Roger,
we can. Some people can go back to the funeral home and.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody know anything? I mean, is there any historical significance, anthropology, anything like that? I don't even, to this bottle. Has it ever occurred in history? Anybody ever sort of heard of it? Because I have.
Would a fringe or occult spend help with that?
I don't think it's necessarily a spend. I think this looks, here's what I'll say with the skills that you have between anthropology and occult and so on without a spend. I think looking at this seems very kind of homemade rather than a ritual object. There's clearly something weird with that flesh, and like draws to like, to quote the principles of magic. So there is clearly some connection there, and they're using it to get a rough direction. And from where you're at in that field, you but what Jim was saying before, given this thing, kind of walking around and getting a sighting, like at what point does it kind of shift? You can draw a line across the rest of this field through another field. Then there's a stand of woods. Then there's some essentially grazed land, and then there's a farm.
Is it a farm owned by?
It is a
David?
farm owned in that sort of listed property for the Sons of David. It is listed as being occupied by one Adam Hauerwas.
Okay, that's definitely a future lead, I believe. Yeah,
But that's what we can find out, I guess.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah,
So
I think that,
We look through the field and see the farm off on the distance.
well, you
and
actually see the woods.
the woods. Yeah.
yeah. The sheriff sort of gave, he did give me information on property that these guys own, so it's definitely in that direction. And from what Long just said, we know the occupants, but I don't think that's worthy of that's a whole group go there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Plus you can also do some research, ahead of time. So let's assume that we return back
Yeah.
to town. Let's do that once around. Susan, you have the phones. This is kind of your area of expertise. Do you want to?
Yeah, I would like to hack the phones first of all to see if there's any kind of message on it.
Sure.
SMS or WhatsApp or whatever.
Let's have you make a data retrieval spend from technical, and I'll give you some basics, and then maybe we can see if you want to hack further. Does that seem fair? So you'll pull this up and check, and you will identify, you've worked with fringe groups and things like that in the FBI, and you'll identify that they're using essentially a basic encrypted, text program on what is intended to be burner phones. And you'll be able to, with the data retrieval, pull up like the last several message exchange here before you'd have to actually do a full break-in. The last message this guy sent, the one who was in the field that you shot, was essentially FBI and then kind of run text that is sent. And you'll follow that back, and you'll see there's clearly a set of exchanges between this pair and somebody else who must be in the area. And the exchanges seem to be like road directions and things like that. You'll get, the text that's from this pair that says heading out to spot. You'll get text from the other pair that says unable to break into parlor. And it kind of that goes back, and you will kind of run it back. It looks like they've been in the area for maybe 10, 12 hours. There's some on the road talk that's clearly while they're traveling. The one weird term that is used when they get here, that by this pair, they say, how much does he have of the eternal flesh?
Hmm.
And then the next note is not on lines. Like clearly don't use that term. Does that seem like a fair info?
That is a lot of info.
Yeah, you kind of run that back, see this conversation. Yeah, you can probably track like with those to like a GPS ping to kind of track them back, on their path. They came from somewhere in Nevada to here. You're guessing they must have, with given the timetable, what you know of the posting of that forensics thing, maybe 6 or 8 hours after that went live, they're on the road.
Okay.
Horst, I don't think that you've spent 4 from academic, but I know you've spent 1 from technical. So you might want to just stay on top of those numbers.
Yeah, I do need to. So I'd sense trouble, but somebody I think did the job for me. I hope.
So that,
Or is
yeah,
it-
I wasn't thinking about, it's the academic, interpersonal, and technical. You just need to stay on top of.
Yeah, I was spending. Let's see.
So you
I
spent
got
1 from
3.
technical, so your technical current should be 3.
Goes 3.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I've got a time-sensitive idea here, folks. I'm going to put it out there. If you like it, let's run with it. If not, put it back in the box. Okay, somebody impersonate one of these guys. We reply to whoever the third man is and say, we've shot the FBI. Somebody, one of these 2 guys is injured. We need extraction now. And try and get him. So we'll drive back out to the scene and we get him.
Try to
back
lure
out
them.
there.
Mhm.
Or we use we've found it, but so and so's injured. Come out here and assist recovering it. I think the first thing's maybe a bit of thing, but I believe that's a time sensitive thing. If the guy's not already gone to the crime scene. When I say guy, the person.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, we're about 45 minutes to an hour out from the time that he sent that text.
Mm.
Okay. What I
Could be
can
a bit
tell you,
late.
it will definitely be a white person.
Um,
I like the idea.
yeah, I don't think we should do it where we had the gunfight, because I think that's the sheriff said he's going to send some guys out just to tidy up. So why not draw them to the morgue? We're holed up in the morgue because and I've got someone to try and find someone to treat him.
But he did say that the FBI were on. He did say that we, the FBI, were there. I don't know how
and they're killed
over text.
My thing is there's abandoned farms nearby.
Yeah,
I got away, they shot me, they got the van. I need extraction, like I need someone to come get me. Like I don't know how much longer I can stay awake for, I'm bleeding out.
Yeah,
I like that.
I know where it is. Come get me, you son of a bitch. Like lots of reasons why, like, it's safe to come here, and you need to get me, and I have what you want.
I mean, I definitely, let's move on that. We might not be able to do it this session because we haven't got too long left. But so what would be the best skill to impersonate this person? Disguise. I think I have some.
You are an undercover DA agent, so.
As does Susan.
Yeah, I've disguised as well.
Susan's got the phone.
And this isn't disguise as in act like someone.
Yeah.
This is pick up the cues from a digital communication and reuse them.
I'm more than happy, but if Susan doesn't want to do it, I can step in. But if you think that's a good idea.
I think Jim had the great idea. Why don't you do it? I think Susan would try to look for the FBI was here in the area before, weren't they?
They mentioned about a year ago.
And we don't know why.
They were here because they thought that the Sons of David might be involved in some bank robberies.
Oh, okay.
Which might be a useful line of investigation for possible out-of-state connections that the Estons and David have, such as these group of people who seem to be almost rivals in some ways. But I think that I'd love to set up that sting and have Gene and Jim load up and head out to do a because I'm not going to doorstep this woman in the middle of the night either and find out what she wants. And this is as golden an opportunity as any to basically murder someone in a field at night with no one around.
I do feel that we've gotten to a point where this might be the place where we stop, starting next time with any additional research Susan would do, Marcus's autopsy, and the two of you trying to pull off this impersonation. Does that seem reasonable?
It does. I think. Well, I was wondering if we could end on the see whether or not the texts, like do a roll to see the text, and then so we know that what we're going into next time or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How much do you want to spend on that roll, Jim?
I will spend all my 3 disguise.
I was just thinking that you've chosen a portrait that means that you probably will not blend in with the
white supremacist,
the white
Exactly.
supremacist militia group. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, what is it, Black Klansman here, where he does indeed impersonate a Klansman.
Well, no, but that's right. It's working perfectly well because you're impersonating a Klansman over the phone.
Yeah, this is on text.
Yeah.
Let's
so
have
yeah.
you.
I'm going to roll that D6.
Absolutely.
1d6 plus 3. Here we go. Just press that one button. Nothing happens. Do I have to press roll? Yes, I do. 4 plus 3, 7.
7.
Nice.
It was a good spend.
There is a gap there. And then a reply back, essentially, yes.
Susan, can you at least ping the cell tower that they replied from? How many cell towers are in the town?
There's probably a range around the area. I think if you ping the tower, which I think, Susan, you can do easily with your data
so
retrieval
it won't tell us
skills.
where they are, lol, exactly, but it will give us a sort of...
Yeah. They are pretty close to the crime scene where the gunfight happened. Like it pings the tower by there.
We've removed the bodies, so that's pretty good. So I'm happy
Well,
with
there's
that.
police tape up now. Yeah.
Yeah. Police tape up, blood probably in the snow. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm happy. Good.
Does that
And
sound
we'll go
okay?
Yeah, and I think the rough plan is that we're going to head out to one of the farms that the sheriff said was abandoned nearby, and it's basically the story is that one of these guys got hit, the other got killed, and they limped away to this farmhouse, and they need extraction now.
Yep, that's the story you've given them. Absolutely.
I think Susan will tell Paul and Jean before they head out, be careful. It is possible that they've seen the whole mess. Because the ping was pretty damn close to the scene.
Yeah, be careful who's trapping who here.
Yeah.
We'll find that out next
Dun,
time.
dun, dun.
We see the two of you get in your van or your car.
A last word from Marcus.
Yes.
We need to talk to someone about this.
Of course, Doctor. We'll make every effort to bring them in alive.
Let's stop there. And we will take that up next week. Let's do a quick stars and wishes. You may, and so I'll tell you this now, you're going to get a refresh again. You're going to either refresh 1 investigative push or 3 points of general abilities.
When you say 1 push, is that 1 area or is it 1 point?
It's 1 point
Oh.
of push in one of those areas.
Or 3 general.
or three general.
So,
I've
so,
already spent mine, Lowell. So yeah, I don't need to do mine.
so host, you could take technical back up to 4 or interpersonal back up to 4 or
Yeah, but-
scatter 3 down the general list.
But then I made a mistake because I was down to 1 last time in interpersonal, and I thought you refreshed the whole thing.
Okay.
Ah,
Well,
so that
just drop yourself down another 1, and we'll call that even.
yeah, okay. So 2 in interpersonal. No, that's technical. Let's do it. 2 in interpersonal. Yeah, I think firearms.
Yeah, I think that's a good
I
call.
think that's probably a good call. Everyone nods.
Mhm.
I will remind Will. Are we still recording or?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will remind Gene that yeah, firearms actually isn't my speciality. I'm more of an up close and personal kind of person, but you know, I can shoot a gun clearly.
Yeah, we're all fairly firearmsy, it seems. The doctor is as good at firearms as you are, but
Yeah.
you are much more athletic. And
Yeah, if I could get the drop on them, like from a upper barn area or something,
Yeah, and you've
I'll
got-
do a lot better close in.
you've got pretty strong stealth skills and stuff, and I've got great sense trouble. And
Yeah.
yeah, but let's see
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to finding out what was in that duffel bag of things that DG provided for us, because I can think of all kinds of goodies that I would have brought to the scenario if possible.
It would have been basic equipment,
Mhm.
but it does give you fictional positioning for doing a preparedness roll.
Yeah, that's what I mean entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do quick stars and wishes and get those on the table. Alan, stars, wishes?
I'd just like to offer a star to everyone for going with Marcus's journey. I wanted him to go from angry skeptic to excited believer, because how else will you explain that fringe and occult expertise? So no, I just want to give a star to everyone for leaning heavily into that. So thank you.
Any wishes?
I think I need to understand how stability and health could get back some more other than psychotherapy, etc. I'm not yet certain how the bonds play.
So in the field, you can call up your bond and have them, talk with them to temporarily spend that to, while you have downtime to do that. If you're in the middle of a scene and you want to spend your bond to like keep it from like cracking you or anything, that's when you cause problems for your bond. Like you're gonna, but you can spend it like in between a downtime and get that set. Psychotherapy takes a little bit longer. It's not exactly first aid for stability. But if you had time to sit down and relax and work with people, maybe you would get some of that back in the field. But right now you're still on edge.
A quick question on that, Lowell.
Yeah.
The first refresh today, I dumped all the points in stability because it's in that column. Is that
Actually,
is
yeah,
that
you
allowed or not?
shouldn't refresh stability with the refresh points.
No, that's fine.
No, and that's on me to not clarify that.
I don't mind. I can change it.
Yeah, no. Let's come to Horst.
Yeah, I like the fact today that we had these two groups. So a little bit, Gene and Paul, or Gene and Jim didn't have like a strong scene, but at least Marcus and Susan. So I like this, PC interactions. And I'm looking forward to having Jim and Gene to next time in an action-y scene.
Yeah, we'll get them kind of a parallel setup to what happened with you two.
And my wish would be to have, maybe next time or whenever, like the same setup with Paul's character with Jim, and Susan, and maybe with Susan and Jean.
Yeah, swapping partners around.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart. Yeah, absolutely. Will?
Yeah, just on that, I really enjoy when you do kind of like rough chronology for scenes, you know, like this took place here, but then, you know, time passes and blah, blah, blah. I like the parallel scenes that aren't necessarily taking place immediately synchronously, you know, and you just hand wave the bits in between. And, you know, strong scenes and everything. Like I actually really, you know, as you know, I love investigative stuff and I love hunting down all of the leads. And even if I find a dud one, it was a thing that didn't necessarily lead into a huge thing, but it gave us something, right? Never mind that then everyone else stumbles into a gunfight with mutant people with mutant mouths in their ears. That's clearly the bigger break, right? But like knowing that there's a subject A and blah, 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 it's all valuable stuff. So my star is for having all of that things there. And I do love the partnering and stuff and the split scenes. I like when people don't move as an en masse. It kind of annoys me in a lot of RPGs where you end up with all 4 people doing exactly the same task at once. Makes no dramatic sense to me either, frankly. And the gunfight was great, I thought. It was very like realistic. And wishes wise, I would really like to, I know that like they're probably cagey and paranoid as well, but I would really like us to be able to max, you know, to use our skills, our training, our stuff like that. And the fact that they're coming to us rather than we're coming to them. As the you know, like
Well,
I think it's
that's what
fine.
you think.
Well, yeah, but I think it's fine for the PCs to curb stomp people. They've set themselves up with advantages sometimes, you know, and even if they're paranoid about it, this is essentially what police do, right? They do stings and things like that. I'm willing.
Absolutely. My job is to make you as nervous as possible about how that's going to turn out.
Oh yeah, and I'm as nervous as possible though about the further militia camp that we may have to raid at some point and all of those things. I just want to put it out there. The wishes seems like if Susan wants to come, if Horst wants to come, I do think that 3 of us versus whoever is a much better prospect. I just volunteered Jim for it because neither of us have been in a gunfight and you just had. So if it makes, and you've got investigative things that you were following up, but maybe the 3 of us could, if you want to, you know, the 3 of us go off and leave Dr. Evans to his own devices, which can't possibly go wrong.
No, exactly. I'm very happy with that.
And I'm actually going to assume, just for procedural things, that like you sent that text not from the funeral home, but like you got to the site, you were there, and you sent the text from there so that you would definitively be ahead of them.
That's exactly what I would have wanted, but I felt too cheeky to say it, Lowell.
No, I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it would only make sense, it would only really work if you did it that way. So that's my assumption.
Yeah.
And Paul.
I was so stoked this session, Lowell. Really, really good. You know, one of the best sessions I've played in a long, long time. Nobody stood on anybody's feet. There was just really good interplay between the characters. I do like it a little bit light and humorous in places. But yeah, there was deep darkness, you know, and the pacing was really great. So big start for you and a big start all the other players. You know, yeah, great session as far as I'm concerned. Really, really good. Building wishes, building on sort of what Will said. I didn't get a flamethrower in this episode. Maybe a bear trap. I'd love to see somebody's foot in a bear trap. You know, yeah,
that is an easy preparedness roll. To find something like that.
Some scumbag with his foot in a bear trap. Yeah, always looks good on screen. Always looks good.
Absolutely.
You just roboted very slightly when you said that, and I thought a beer trap.
It is the US. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like it that it is clearly white people that are massively involved in all this cultism. Yeah, plays well for my character. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.